Hello, hello. Great. So, what I was saying was that, if you see India, obviously we have beaten China in terms of population. We are the we are the biggest population, 1.4 billion people. And India is on track to become the third largest economy by 2030. As of today, we are the fifth largest. Can you tell me which is number one? America, of course. And which one is second as far as economy is concerned? China, of course. And third? Third is Japan. And fourth is? No, fourth is Germany. Fifth is India. So definitely it was a surprise to me also, but now we are on track to becoming third largest economy in the world. And you will be surprised to know that out of 1.4 billion people, 65% of the people are of age below 35 years. Below 35. So we are a young country. And that is what makes us a very dynamic consumer market and a source for future talent. Right? 65% of 1.4 billion people are below 35. So it's a young country. Right? Third, and we are, of course, talent-wise, IT, engineering, you know it worldwide. Even in Netherlands, there are so many Indian companies who are working for Rabobank, ABN AMRO, Philips. Sorry? Oh, yeah, ASML, of course, that's one of the very, very big companies. So, point is that India has got highly skilled professionals, especially in technology and engineering. And then, of course, today, sir, please come in. Please come. Okay. And last is AI adoption. We are also leading the curve in terms of adopting, embracing this new technology. So obviously there are so many things. I'm not bragging, but I just wanted to introduce you that India is on a growth trajectory, especially in terms of engineering, young people. But my friend was in Mumbai. Maybe he had a 50-50. He said good and bad. It was a tutti-frutti experience for you, right? So if I may ask just one line, what was that which you liked most in India? What was that? Food? Yeah. Willingness. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, okay. Okay, great. Thank you so much. And then having said this, now we all know that for us to grow and be a good source, IT is very important. You all agree information technology is the backbone of all business. Today, even if you want to open a coffee shop or even if you want to open any industry, IT is the main thing. And for IT, cybersecurity becomes very important. Cybersecurity is the key. So having said this, these are our four main agenda which we'll be discussing. Ladies and gentlemen, the first agenda is cybersecurity in a network world. Second is gaps to holistic approach, holistic strategy to manage cyber risk, and approach for root cause mitigation of top risk. See, gentlemen, I'm sure you would agree, ladies and gentlemen, that today the top management doesn't has a clear view of what is happening at the ground level. Do you agree? My friend, do you agree or not? Right? You don't have actually what is happening on the ground. And if you really see, people at the top level are really frustrated because they don't know what exactly the security posture should be and what exactly the reports they want. So having said this, we will be talking about cyber security in a network world. And if you see, ladies and gentlemen, there is a need for a new posture for cyber security in a network world. Anybody looking at cyber security in their companies? Are you involved in cyber security? What are your challenges, sir? What are your challenges you face? Candid opinion, what is that which is the biggest pain point, if I may know from you?
Biggest pain point for our company is getting the business involved in getting the cyber and security, IT security at a level that is acceptable against the risk appetite.
Great. You know what he said? He said business and IT there is a gap, right? What business wants, and we all know that there is a trade-off between business and security. Because if everything is secure, how will you operate? The ship is safest when it is at the harbor, right? But it has to go to the sea. We have to be operational. So we really have to keep a balance. What are your challenges, if any? Any challenges you face currently?
Users and their actions.
Users and their actions.
And their actions.
Interactions, okay. Especially in terms of cybersecurity, you mean to say? Yes. Okay. What about you, ma'am?
Procurement.
Procurement. Exactly, you can elaborate.
The cycle of procurement often includes people who are not, who shouldn't be authorizing one or another kind of process. Yeah, so
maybe there is a problem with the process. Oh, great. That's I understand. So, these are some of the ground realities. And today, I'm sure you would agree with me, ladies and gentlemen, we all as a company are sitting like ducks. We can be attacked anytime. We are lucky that we have not got any cyber attack as yet. But the way cyber attacks are growing, we are like sitting ducks, right? You are lucky if you have not been attacked, right? So having said this is what is the reason. Damaging cyber security attacks and streams of suspicion digital communication have made cyber security a top concern of the world's business leader. Do you agree? It's a top concern of world business leaders, cybersecurity today. Second is, cyber risk is now as important as financial and legal risk. Any disagreement on that? Do you feel that still there is a gap in importance to cybersecurity? My friend, do you feel, is it a top priority in your company as priority you're giving to legal and risk? Not at the moment, but do you think it is required? Right, great. That's right. And why do you think your management is not agreeing? I'm just trying to make it, more like a conversation. Why do you think your management is not agreeing? Are they waiting for some attack to happen and then they will realize? Nothing has happened as yet. Okay. So that means you are lucky that nothing has happened as yet. And third is the increasing complexity of managing digital risk in large corporation. As and when you are growing, your complexities will increase. You will become more vulnerable. Why I am telling you all these things, that please don't wait. Especially top management should be on their toes to have a good cyber security posture. Last, this is the most important thing, ladies and gentlemen. I would like your attention here. Lack of an effective integrated approach to cyber security. There's no integrated approach which is happening. There's no integrated approach. Right, my friend. Anything? Are you also in corporate cybersecurity? Do you feel these kind of gaps happening? Any insights? Anything comment you have from your side? Like we are saying that there is a lack of an effective integrated approach to cyber risk management. Sorry, you can take this mic, please. Yeah.
Is that the Greek risk, CRESI, the Greek risk? Okay. Risk, how to say, I have it, sorry. Risk is very important for the risk management. The CISO, you have the CISO, and nearby is the risk. Yeah, risk, yeah. Risk officer, sorry, yeah, the risk officer. Sorry.
yeah. Chief risk
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, sure. So that's good that you have a chief risk officer who has a complete holistic view. Right. No worries. Okay, great. So having said this, this is the need for a new posture for a cyber security in a network world, right? So having said this, why are there gaps to integrated approach? The reasons for gaps for an integrated approach is that the CEO, the CISO, the CIOs, they have a lack of structure. They have no proper information coming to them. The information which is coming to CIOs is very technical, very detailed. Sometimes the top management doesn't understand that also. Do you agree with me, sir? Any comments on that? Sometimes the top management also doesn't understand what is this technology all about. They don't understand the jargons, right? They don't understand at times, most of them I'm saying. I don't know, any comment on that? Do you
No.
agree, don't agree?
I agree.
Agree?
Yep.
And why do you, like, is it important for them to make their reports more simple, more less detailed, more precise?
It's a request from management from our side. Less detail.
Yeah. So if you hear this gentleman, he also echoes the same thing, that today whatever reports are coming to the top management are very fragmented, they are not structured, there are too much of technical jargons, it is not logically attached. One team would say this asset is safe, other team would say this asset is not safe. So there's a lot of inconsistency also which is happening, right? You're new to this field, so maybe you're learning. Okay, great. So lack of structure, lack of consistent real-time data, lack of clarity, these are the things which are really disturbing the top management. They really want to do good thing, they really want to make sure that the company is secure, but because of all these factors, they are clueless, right? So that is where we want an integrated approach and a holistic strategy. Do you all understand the meaning of holistic, by the way, right? What exactly you mean by holistic? From cybersecurity perspective, yeah. And having a bigger picture, right?
Right, like the whole.
And do you think top management really needs that holistic integrated approach to take decisions?
I think you're underestimating management.
Sorry?
I think you're underestimating management.
Okay. So definitely I agree. No, I agree. Quite. Yeah. No, they want a holistic approach, but they're not getting inputs from all the factors. That is what the concern is. Management always want a holistic approach, but they are not getting those inputs. That is our worry. And that is why cybersecurity is suffering. So having said this, we want a holistic approach proceeds from an accurate overview of the risk landscape. We want to empower organizations to focus their defenses on the most likely and most threatening cyber risk scenarios. I'm sure you would agree, we as a company cannot secure everything. Do you agree with me? Can we secure everything? Can we secure every asset? It's impossible. So that is where we want, as my friend said, we need to involve business. Business has to tell which are the assets which needs to be protected more. Because everything is a cost. Do you agree with me? Everything is a cost. So we really need to involve business with the cybersecurity folks and tell them this is the asset which needs more security. And then accordingly put controls and protections. Otherwise, it is a very costly affair. I don't want to put a $10 lock on a $5 bicycle. Do you agree? Would you like to put a $10 lock on a $5 bicycle? Oh, madam is saying yes. You're saying yes?
No, I'm not saying it.
Okay, so we don't want to put a $10 lock on a $5 bicycle. And of course, this is why we want a holistic approach. And we want to achieve effective resilience and efficient operations. And we need tight controls to our crucial assets. My friend, are you also from cybersecurity? What exactly is your role, if you may know, for all of us?
Cybersecurity engineer.
So is it that your management, how serious you think your management is giving focus to cybersecurity? What do you think?
I think they're really high on the question.
Is it that they also decide which assets need to be more protected and which assets need to be less protected? Is there a kind of a forum they have? Okay. So having said this, these are things, I'm sure I need your inputs here. I need you to also interact with me. If you want a holistic approach, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very important kind of a landscape which tells you that besides people, information system and infrastructure, these are the things which need to be focused. Assets means clearly defined critical assets. Now again, this is the checklist, my friend. Is your company defining critical assets? Please say yes or no. is your company has a definition of what are the critical assets in your company. Great. Second, do you have differentiated controls to balance security with agility? Because if you make things more secure, maybe your productivity gets little slower. Can anybody tell me when I say having more security reduces productivity? Can you tell me what I mean by this? Having more security reduces your productivity. Do you agree with me or don't you agree with me? What would you say, sir?
Shouldn't.
See, basically, point is if you have more and more security, right, your operations will suffer. So there has to be a healthy balance. As I was telling you, a ship is safest when it is at the harbor. But you have to make the ship go to the seas, right? So that is why you have to keep a very healthy balance between security and productivity. Do you agree? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah? Any comment on this?
Not always true. More security does mean more productivity a lot of times because the systems are always available.
So you're saying more security not necessarily means less productivity. Is that what you're saying? Okay. So I agree with you to some extent, but sir, at the moment, if you keep check and balances on everything, maybe you're not as fast and efficient as you want to be. So we need to keep a healthy balance. That is what we want. So having said this, controls are important. Then, of course, processes are very important, right? I think somebody talked about processes. These are also very important. This is like a checklist which you can use in your organization. Like a check. My friend, do you agree? These things are like a checklist. You have to see your organization and see whether you have the required critical assets, whether you have proper controls in place, whether you have processes in place, whether your organization has the right skills. Many organizations don't have the right skills also. Right? That is why there's a big demand for cybersecurity professionals. Sir, do you agree? Is there a big demand? Do you have right skills of people in your organization? Not enough. What do you say? Do you have the right skills? There's a big gap in skills and the demand which is there in the market. So we need to train more people. That is why cybersecurity is a very hot topic, especially for you, my friend. You are getting into your career. So cybersecurity is the way to go. Right? Obviously, people want experience, people want skills, so that is very important. And then governance, good governance is very important. What do you mean by the word governance? Any one of you? Governance. Yeah? Let's hear. What do you mean by the word
Sorry,
governance?
can you repeat?
What do you mean by the word governance?
Governance. Could you explain to me?
Sorry?
Could you?
Okay. Anybody? I'll definitely explain. What do you understand of governance?
In your organization,
Yeah.
is that the question?
Yes. No, in your organization, what do you mean by the word governance? What are the elements of good risk management?
I think if you're talking about governance, it's clear that who bears the responsibility and reports those responsibilities.
Exactly. Thank you. What is your understanding, sir, of governance? Any one of you?
The way to monitor and tooling.
Exactly. So I'm sure you agree. Both of you said, do you agree, sir, with the word governance? Governance means how you manage things in the most appropriate manner by having the right policies, standards, procedures, people accountable for it. And that's exactly what you said, right? And this is exactly what you said, how we monitor, how we review, right? So we really need to keep reviewing our cybersecurity posture, right? That is very important. So, ladies and gentlemen, if this is like a checklist for you, right, just to be making sure that whether you have a holistic approach and whether you have a complete view of the risk management landscapes. Did you get the meaning of governance? You understood the meaning of governance? Governance means reviewing, in simple, just to make sure things don't go off track. And then accordingly putting controls in place. As simple as that. So you really need to understand from your company perspective whether you have clearly defined assets, whether you have proper controls, whether you have processes in place, whether you have right skills in place, and whether you have good governance in place. If all these are there, ladies and gentlemen, there is one more element, that is your suppliers. How sure are you about your suppliers? Your suppliers, do you outsource anything in your company? Do you outsource? Okay. What about you? Do you outsource? You said SOC, right? Right. So are you in cloud services?
Yeah, partially. Partially.
So the vendors which you select, is there any criteria for selecting them?
Absolutely. They go through a process of an onboarding process. They go to a.
Please hear him. He said a very beautiful point. We, before selecting our vendors, we do a proper onboarding. That's a very important point. And onboarding on some criteria?
Legal. So if it's, it has to be part of European Union, for example. It has to go to some digital, let me see, a data privacy impact assessment. There are a couple of more criteria that they have to meet if we can only begin to speak to that party.
So, ladies and gentlemen, did you hear him? They have such a good process of onboarding. They check it out. They check on their compliances. They check on their past records. Everything is there. So supply chain, your third party, is also an element of risk in your whole security posture. Do you get involved in third party assessments also, by any chance?
We are the third party.
You are the third party. So your whom you give services, they must be checking on your credentials and they must be auditing you, all those things they must be doing. Great. So can you just tell me at a high level what kind of audits they do? What are the primary things they check? If you can just share at a high level.
Frameworks. Yeah, especially procedures, financially.
Lovely. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen to him. That's very important.
So yeah, that's those kind of things. Our environment looks like. That's basically.
Great. So did you hear him? They check the financials, they check the background, they check the documentation, everything is checked. So this is the importance, because your cybersecurity is not complete, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't audit your third parties. Because today, no organization can work in silos. Do you agree? No organization can work in silos. You need partners, you need suppliers. And if they don't have good cybersecurity posture, then you are also in danger. So you need to make sure this is like a checklist which the top management wants to make sure. Right? Proper controls, proper governance, proper critical assets being identified, proper processes, and of course, right skills with right accountability, and even taking into account your suppliers and vendors. This will help me have a good cybersecurity posture. And this is what the top management is looking for. So having said this, then what is the approach? If this is the scenario, then what is the approach to identify risks? Do you follow any kind of a methodology, my friend, to identify risk? How do you do, sorry, my friend, how do you do risk management in your company, generally? Because you're a cybersecurity engineer. So maybe, I'm sure you must be having some framework, some methodology to manage risk. Can you please share with us at a very high level, nothing confidential?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell the confidential part, but we do have a SOC team, and if we are seeing something on our network, we can go for it.
So you do identify the risk,
Yeah.
and do assess how big or small the risk is.
Yeah.
Great. So does your department do that, or there is a special other people?
Risk assessment. We also have a risk assessment part.
Did you hear the word? They have a proper risk assessment approach. What about you, sir? Any risk assessment?
We have a risk assessment division, and they're basically following the steps you're displaying on your screen.
So, my friend, if you don't mind, may I know from your company seems to be very much at a high level of cybersecurity procedure. Can I know your name of your company? Is it confidential?
Well, no, it's a government department.
Wow. So they seem to be quite mature.
But I can't say which government department.
You can't say which government department, okay. But usually government people are like laggards. You understand the meaning of laggards? They are slow. But after hearing from you, they seem to be like really very mature and, look at him. You can hear from him the good practices which the companies have adopted. Really nice. So anything you do in your company for risk management?
Frameworks, ISO, CIS, that kind of thing.
And if I may know, is your organization a government organization? Is your organization a government organization? It's a private. Okay. You are a service provider to government. Can I say that? Oh, great. Okay. Great. So this is the approach we follow. And I'm very happy to know that your organization already does this, because the main approach for risk management is first you identify the risk. What are the top risks which are there? And then you analyze and evaluate. And then you, accordingly, if your risk, by the way, before I proceed, just to make it more interactive, can any one of you tell me how do you assess how big or small the risk is? On what factors? On what factors do you assess how much is it severe, non-severe? On what factors?
Usually the business impact is the main source.
I'm super impressed with you, sir. It is basically the impact and the probability. What is the probability of that risk and what is the impact? See, every risk we as top managers cannot address. We really need to know what is the threshold level. Are you getting me, my friend? You really have to see, what is the probability of the risk? What is the impact of the risk? Based on that, only management will take a call. Everybody has a risk appetite. There is something called as a risk appetite. If you have a risk appetite, maybe you will say, okay, fine, this is acceptable to me. I will move on. I will live with that risk. But the moment if the risk exceeds, that means you should raise a red flag. Do you agree with me, ma'am? Right? So it's very important to assess and then accordingly see whether it exceeds your risk appetite or not. And if it exceeds, then you need to take an action. This is the right procedure of risk management. Is it something like this you do in your company? Maybe when you go back, you can check with them. Right? This is the right way. So this is what is another way of risk management and making sure that you get to the root cause of that risk, right? Just root cause. Just 2 minutes, sir. Just 2 minutes. Okay. So he maybe got bored. And this is the table which you have, right? This is a table which you have, which is for risk matrix, which we do. And then this is the dashboard. This is the dashboard which we recommend. Right? This is a dashboard which we recommend. Right? Is this something like this you use, my friend? Like where you see the probability into impact, and then what are the risks? Something, you use a color scheme like this. You use a color scheme like this, which says this is beyond, this is my limit, and this is within risk appetite. All this dashboard, if you have a well-composed page, then you are more in control. Sir, you agree with me? Right? This is the need, because reporting is also very important. Today, the biggest problem management is facing is reporting. The reporting is not good. Okay? And then, of course, you can have your controls put place. Do you understand the meaning of residual risk, by the way? What is the meaning of residual risk? Yeah?
The risk that stays after mitigating it.
Correct. Risk which stays once you have done a mitigation. Even if you have done controls, there will be risk some which is left. You eat a medicine, still your fever has not gone. Right? That is called as residual risk. So all this dashboard, if you have, ladies and gentlemen, right? This is like a well-composed page which management loves to have it. And this is what is called as cybersecurity reporting and dashboarding. I'm just giving an example. Imagine if you have a consolidated report like this, how good your management would feel. Right? You are working as a cybersecurity engineer. Don't you think your top management wants a one-page view? Do you think they have got so much of time to get into all depth? They don't have time. They just want a snapshot. And if you want a holistic approach, you have to feed them with such reports. Yeah, any comments from your side? Sir, any comments from your side? Do you agree with this? Any question? Yeah, okay. Very important to have a good dashboard. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then, of course, whatever, if you want to make a good dashboard, you need data. You need data from various resources. You need consistent data. Your data cannot be fragmented. That is why we say you need a integrated data architecture platform. Do you feel that need? Integrated data platform architecture? Because it has happened so many times that one section of the company says my asset is safe, and the other section says my asset is not safe. Now tell me, if you are a manager and if you get two different contradictory reports, don't you think I as a CIO, as CISO will be confused? One, he is saying my data is safe, and you are saying my data asset is not safe. So it's very inconsistent. This is what is actually happening. And that is why we need an integrated data architecture platform and something called as consolidated data lake. Have you heard of this word called data lake? Right? Because data lake means a huge pool of data which is consistently with reliable data being maintained. I think this much is the simplest definition. So all that thing should be here, which will help me to make a good dashboard. If you're a company like ASML, Philips, Rabobank, do you think you can survive if you don't have a good dashboard? Please say me yes or no. No, not at all. And this is what is lacking. So a good dashboard can summarize and present the following analysis, ladies and gentlemen. The first one I'll read very slowly. The evolution of the relevant threat landscape and its implication for the organization. So if I have a good dashboard, I will really understand what is the threat landscape and what is its implication to the organization. Do you understand, my friend, what I'm trying to say here? If you have a good dashboard, it will help you understand what is my threat landscape and what is its implication. If I don't have a good dashboard, do you think I will be clueless? And when the attack would happen, I will not know, oh, what happened? So this is very important. All these things, my friend, you should, when you go back, you should tell to your company if these things are not happening. Second, an overview of recent cyber risk events. Top management doesn't know what happened, what were the incidents, and what are the key countermeasures to be taken. Do you understand the meaning of countermeasures? What is the meaning of countermeasures? Any idea? Yeah.
So you protect your organization.
Exactly. Sorry, I'm asking you just to make it more interactive. I know you know it. Right. So countermeasures. And third is the top cyber risk as defined in cooperation with the business units and measured through clearly defined key risk indicators. I need to involve business because business knows which are my critical assets. Maybe as a cybersecurity engineer, I don't know which assets are more critical to the company. Do you agree? So you need inputs. You're a technical guy, but you don't know which assets are more critical to the company. So that is why business means your top management has to be involved, right? So this is all helping me, this good dashboard is helping me to achieve this. Risk assessment in light of clearly defined risk appetite with recommendations on the asset in need of prioritized attention. Every asset has an appetite, how much they can tolerate. So I need to prioritize it also. And last is, I need a detailed plan of the counter risk initiatives in place with relevant accountabilities, implementation status, and actual impact on reduction. So I need people who will be accountable for risk management. Maybe you are accountable for certain risks. Maybe he is accountable, right? You understand the meaning of accountable and responsible, by the way? What do you think is the difference between the two?
If you're responsible, then you are the owner of the, how to explain?
Okay, no worries. Yeah. The difference between accountability and responsibility.
Accountability is you're responsible for the activities within the company. Responsibility is that you are responsible for implementing that part of the.
And accountable?
Yeah, accountable is that you're within the company. How can you translate?
No worries. Okay. So let me explain you. Supposing you are a CISO, of your company, and he is the security engineer, right? I cannot be involved in my day-to-day work. I will delegate the work to him for making sure that the risk is managed, the cyber attacks are reduced. So he is delegating the things to him. So he is responsible. But supposing some major cyber attack happens, then he is not answerable, he is answerable to the management. So you are accountable, he is responsible. So whenever we are doing this good governance, it's very important to know who is accountable, who is responsible, whether the implementation plan happened or not, how the risk got reduced. All this monitoring we can come to know by having a good dashboard. So reporting plays a very critical role, right? And this is what is the summary. To support effective decision making, optimally designed dashboards allow users to drill down from group level risk status to individual businesses and legal entities. So it also helps you to have a complete drill down understanding of your organization. Top management, believe me, are really frustrated because they want to do something, but they're not able to do because of lack of information. And these are the basic inputs for accurate risk sizing, as I told you. If you want to really get into risk sizing, if your management really wants to understand what is the risk, definitely they need a business perspective of the institution's key assets and the top risks that could affect them. I'm just summarizing these things. I just spoke about it, that how much important business and cybersecurity should work hand in gloves. And then, of course, a consistent, accurate definition. What do you mean by the word, by the way, I've been speaking this word. What do you mean by the word risk appetite? Sorry.
The risks you are willing to take.
Exactly. It's a very important word. Like appetite, how much of risk you can tolerate or take. Appetite not from eating food, but in terms of managing risk, right? So that is also very important. And realistic update investment about what are the threats, who are the threat actors. So all these things is helping me to have a good risk assessment and a good approach to holistic cybersecurity. And these are some of the voices, some of the people who have actually had that mindset and using all this approach of integrating everything, having dashboards, made them really achieve success. These are the words. I'll just read one of them. Like one of the healthcare CIO said. Sir, if you want to come, please come, sir. Please join us, right? So one of the things which he said was, we now have the financial leeway to build out our next generation security operations in an center and an insider threat program thanks to the new approach. You know, this is like a testimony to the fact that using this good approach, how it helped them. Whether it was a financial service chief risk officer or a healthcare CIO. Do you use something, any thoughts? I really like to hear from you. Is there something like this which you said you're doing all these good practices, right? Are there any gaps which you still feel are there? Does your business and IT works very closely, or there is still a room for improvement? Any thoughts?
Oh, there's absolutely a gap in the organization.
Sorry, why there is a gap?
I'm not sure. I think that what you mentioned earlier, Seth, you cannot protect everything or you cannot secure everything. Yeah. There's always gaps, and I think one thing you point out is insider threat. I think we can improve in that. So there's always gaps. There's always gaps.
I totally appreciate, but at least you have I'm happy to know that your company has that mindset, that reporting structure. They understand the importance of dashboards, and they have a holistic approach. This is what I heard from you. So really appreciate your company. Yeah. Right. So this is my last slide. Just to summarize everything. I'll just summarize everything. Maybe I was a little too fast. I don't know. But point was that to create a good dashboard, the group needs to collaborate. If you're not collaborating, you will never have a good reporting mechanism. Second point, involve business owners from day one and be willing to make trade-offs to find the right balance between protection and productivity. This is what I was saying. Protection and productivity has to be balanced. Third, the dashboard forces all to adopt a common language. If you have a dashboard, everybody will start talking about KRIs. KRIs, you understand, key risk indicators. What are the different threat levels? Compliance, criticality. Everybody in your company will start speaking the same language. And establishing holistic cyber risk reporting and governance is as much about people as it's about processes and dashboard. So you have to involve people also. Reporting mechanism doesn't mean having good processes and dashboard. You need to involve people. You need to make people accountable, as I was just mentioning. Right? Then only the system would work. Otherwise, you will be lost in the forest. Believe me. If you don't have an integrated approach, your cyber security will be just for namesake only. Yeah, any comment on that? If you don't have a good integrated approach, your cyber security is just for namesake only. You are lucky that you don't have. You may be having on paper, oh, I have a very good cyber security method. But your management has got no holistic view. Something is secure, the same thing is not secure in another department. We don't want that. And last is, which is the most important point, comprehensive dashboard can accurately identify, size, and prioritize cyber threats. At the end of the day, the story ends with prioritization. What do I need to prioritize? And that can happen only with proper, holistic, coherent, integrated understanding. So this was about which I wanted to cover. Unfortunately, those couple, I don't know why they left. They were answering very well. But anyway, that's part of the game, right? I would have loved more audience, but thank you so much. You came. Any last comment? Anything you want to conclude?
No, thanks for the. No. Yeah, absolutely. Good talk, good information. I think I agree with almost everything you said. So yeah, thanks.
What about you, sir?
Yeah, thanks. Sorry, I walked in just by, so I think.
got the gist.
Yeah, I got everything, all the information about.
Integrated approach. Which the message was integrated. If you understand the word integrated, holistic, my objective is met.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Anything from your side, sir?
Yeah, I was.
You understood what I was trying
Yeah, I understand. Thank you very much.
So this is pretty much about me. Any questions you have, sir? We are from the India Pavilion, and we would request you to please come at the India Pavilion. Do we have sweets there today? 11:30. We have got Indian sweets. We would love you to have that. I assure you, your stomach won't get upset. That's for sure. So please come and have some sweets. This is just right behind. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.